You're now listening to N21FM, a Pokemon podcast. I'm your host, Glenn. I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful and lovely co-host, Johnny. And it's a little low energy today. We've been out of it for a while, for a couple weeks. Definitely a bit out of the loop of Pokemon. So today's going to be a little bit interesting. We've got some fun stuff on the docket, some less fun stuff on the docket as well. But overall, a pretty cool episode planned for you guys today. As always, if you're watching on YouTube, please leave a like, a comment, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, leave us a good rating and a comment. And no matter what platform you're on, please be sure to visit the Patreon over at patreon.com/terminalcreative. I will leave that link in the description below as well. That is how you can get early access to every episode, normally at least 2 days early, sometimes a little more, and access to bonus content. I mentioned it last week, but again, I want to welcome all of the new faces that are popping in thanks to the episode that I did with the Dunsparce and Drampa cast. Again, super thankful to them for coming on the show, and I hope I get to have another episode with them in the future. Super great folks. Glad to have some of their people joining me over here on N21FM. Also, we got an exclusive in the bonus episode for the Dunsparce and Drampa interview. So if you want more content with them, be sure to visit that bonus episode over at Patreon. And it helps support the channel. We don't run ads. We don't plan on ever running ads. So that is the best way to support us and help us make sure that we're giving you the best content we can. With all that out of the way, though, before we get into all the Pokemon stuff, Johnny, how have you been? It's been a while. How's your life been?
Yeah, it has. Oh man, busy, exhausting. I just got finished. Was it a week ago? About moving stuff into a new place. So
I see that
to the viewers at home,
location.
You can see new stuff behind me. It's not just World War II books and stuff about naval ships and guns and random whatever.
Although that stuff is kind of sick, and
there was some very cool stuff. Yeah, I will say, I don't miss the place that I was in, but the decor there was pretty sick. Having had like an N2 or an M1 Garand behind me and some, samurai swords. I mean, that was cool stuff.
Yeah,
it's cool stuff.
Anytime there's a katana or an M1 Garand on the wall, I'm like, all right, there's a non-zero chance that the person here might not be the best person.
Yeah.
But there's also a non-zero chance that this wall decor is super sick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the way it was. I won't get into that. That's not the topic of this episode. That might be something for an N21 Plus episode. But
maybe so.
No, it's been good. Getting moved into a new place. We've been getting, furniture, getting all straightened out, some baby furniture set up, you
had your baby shower too, right?
We did, yeah. Oh my god, it was so nice. It was just nice to see some other family come over, and we had some friends come over as well. It was a super cool time. Yeah. Cassie looked amazing. She looks amazing. I'm super happy. So it's just been a good time, getting all this stuff kind of set up and getting it squared away and getting ready to welcome our daughter into the world.
That's awesome, dude. I'm super stoked for you guys. I'm over the world for you. That's going to be super cool. You're going to be a dad. It's going to be a crazy time. You're going to be going through the gauntlet kind of like Brian is now.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I played with him at Get Some today, and he was like, dude, I'm so tired.
Oh, no, I'll bet.
He is exhausted right now. His little one is doing well.
That's awesome.
Shout out to Brian. Love that guy. Always happy to see him and play with him. And we had him on N21 Plus last week as well for a very fun topic on some games dev stuff. And that's actually on free feeds as well. Be sure to go check that out if you haven't already. Sorry, I had to plug. I'm always thinking.
No.
Plug
Always
now.
good.
But yeah,
we don't run ads. We run ads for this.
Yeah, true. We run ads for ourselves and we pay ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you had a nice busy season that you're kind of coming down from a little bit. I know you've obviously got a lot, and it's kind of also the calm before the storm, because before you know your daughter's going to be here and you're going to be sleepless nights, and we'll probably have a couple more solo episodes, but it'll be all right.
That might happen.
It is what it is, man. It's going to be a good time. I'm stoked for you. That's super cool.
Yeah. We appreciate it. How have you been, man? It's been a minute.
I have been. Let me tell you one thing. I have not been engaged with Pokemon as a franchise or the TCG. Actually, no. As a franchise, it has been pretty engaging. I've been mostly just binging Dunsparce and Drampa. Actually,
no, that's super fair. That's super fair.
So good. I know I already gushed about them the whole episode that they were on, and I and continue to do so after the fact. But that's such a cool and good show. It's 100%. It's one of my top podcasts ever, I think. And to
the listeners at home, it took me up until basically the interview episode to start listening to it, because I was like, I need to listen to it. Glenn told me about it, and just put it off, because that's what I do. I procrastinate, unfortunately. That's a bad character trait. But I was like, I'm not really feeling a lot of competitive Pokemon content right now, especially with the TCG. And I was like, let me just stop listening to some of the podcasts I normally listen to. No more Uncommon Energy for a couple weeks. Let's give something else a try. And so I've started listening to it on my morning drives into work, and just my drives around town. I've been throwing it on. Oh my god, dude. It's so great. It has been I'm nowhere near any I'm just into it, and it's still good. I think
it rocks.
Yeah, I think I just finished. I just finished.
Was it Cindy's gym challenge in Fortree?
So I told you. Yeah, I mentioned that the other day. At that point, that's where I was. I am now just done with Gimli's, and I started in on Elodie's.
Okay, so that's the first gym, right?
Yes, yeah. The Fortree City gym is their first challenge, and that's Elodie, I think, is the last one to take the challenge out of their.
I believe that's correct.
So I'm interested to see how this one works out, because I love Gimli's was by far my favorite. Gimli's, each one I was I enjoyed it more than the last one, but Gimli's was so good.
Yeah. For those, I don't want to give it too much away, just because the listeners at home, you guys owe it to yourself to go and check that show out. It's truly too good. It's so good. But we've talked about. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, getting to visualize the story of how a how a trainer who uses traditionally slow Pokemon is beating a
spoilers
race, is so fun. It's very very spoiler heavy there. I'm sorry, but it's worth it. Just the prize is not just the result. The prize there really is
the journey,
hearing what happens.
Yeah.
The story is 99% of everything there, I feel.
Yeah, so. If not 100%. Also,
honestly, yeah.
in also in 6 episodes, you've got one of my favorite arcs of all time is coming up. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, also, if we're not feeling competitive TCG right now, this is definitely time we should be trying out Unite.
Ooh. Alrighty, I gotta go dig my Switch out of my boxes that I packed it into. Yeah, that's fair. That's super fair.
But yeah, like we said, I've been not feeling the competitive TCG at all, really, either. We both have kind of been in this place, mostly just because I feel after Atlanta, my steam kind of died down for the game.
Yeah.
I was, of course, enthralling immersing myself in Dundra so that I could have the interview with them. I was, listening to that podcast binging. I still need to listen to some more of my second re-listen, my first re-listen while the current stuff is going on. just because
Yeah.
it's even better on the second time through once you know some extra context.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
But I've also just been kind of, I don't know. I don't have a lot to look forward to with the stuff that's currently coming out. Like with Destined Rivals specifically, like I don't see much of how that's going to shake up the meta. And I'm not a big fan of how the game plays right now. And maybe that is just because of like distance. Like maybe it's by that only. So who knows?
I think that's super fair.
Yeah, I'm just at a low place with the game right now, so I don't want to push myself to do something that I'm not enjoying. And I've been having so much fun stuff in other aspects of my life, right? I've been reading some more stuff on Magic, not the Gathering, because I'm not a loser. Sorry, that's not true. If you play Magic the Gathering, you're valid. But like, you know, like I said, I'm a magician, so I'm always looking for more card stuff and magic books and learning new tricks and sleights and stuff like that, and psychology. And I got a really good book, and we'll talk about that in the N21 Plus, the bonus episode. Some stuff we've been doing in our personal lives. I've also been playing one of the best games I've ever played in Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Definitely want to talk about that in the N21 Plus as well.
100%.
Oh, dude. Spoiler alert. That game bangs. Oh my god, it's so good. But yeah, so we'll get to that. It's just like a lot of things kind of compounding for me not being super hyped with where the game's at right now. So I've just been kind of out of touch with it. Destined Rivals has some cool stuff, and I think we can kind of get into that now.
Yeah, for sure.
There's some cool stuff, but there's some gripes with it, right? I think, and ultimately I don't want to like go over the card set and just give you guys more news, but it kind of highlights issues with the game design that are kind of deep-seated in the game right now.
Yes.
It also, there is some really cool, well-designed stuff in here as well, but there's some stuff that's just like, this just doesn't feel like it's anything. This feels like a nothing burger. Because you'll get stuff like just some of these crazy cards that seem awesome. Like, for instance, right? I'm looking at Team Rocket's Arbok, which has the ability whatever glare, right? I gotta find it. It's Intimidating Glare. It's this Pokemon is in your active spot. Your opponent can't play any Pokemon cards with abilities from their hand, excluding Rocket's Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's a cool effect.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But I just feel like this card might not even see play. It's like N's Joltik. Like, this is just not, it doesn't have the chops to be played. And I feel like that's where we're kind of at with a lot of cards, where it's like, even when they could put out cool stuff that's really interesting and nuanced and has a cool play style, like even like Yanmega EX, right? Like, that's a cool card.
Yeah.
But it will never be Dragapult. It will never be Charizard. It will never be Terrabox or like even Joltik Box or Gardevoir. So like, it feels very
it's a card that
empty.
It needs a lot more support to make it a worthwhile card, I think. Or maybe not worthwhile. Maybe that's not the right word, but it's more like to be on like that like A tier deck level, I think, or even like B tier deck level. I think that it's one of those that's going to need something else to come later in order to be that. And it just feels rough when the card comes out and it's not, meshing with like what the current meta is. I think
part of that is a result of the Trainers
example.
Pokemon like situation as a whole, where everything feels self-contained and it feels like, well, this is the best these decks are ever going to be. So here you go. Here's the decks. They're bad. Enjoy. Like we got with N and how we're kind of getting with Team Rocket. Now, the Team Rocket stuff, granted, has like more stuff. By the way, I didn't mean to cut you off. We can get back to what you were saying.
No. You're good.
Like,
you're good.
It's crazy you said that Arbok needs more support, but like the Team Rocket support is crazy.
Yeah.
Having Team Rocket's Transceiver is a bananas card.
Oh my god.
Especially in tandem with something like Team Rocket's Factory, and you can use that with like Giovanni and what is it, like petrol,
Yeah, let me just go
or
ahead and
what's the one that you
Guzma
fill? Yeah, Team Rocket's Ariana is a bananas card.
Yeah, 100%. Let me just draw to 8, and then I
And then
have
with
the
the factory
in
in play, let
Two
me
more.
fill to 10.
Yeah.
Fill to 10 cards.
Also, remember, the factory can also just be used whenever you want to. So you can fill to 10, play stuff down, and like do
I think
other
it
things.
is when you play the supporter.
Is it? I thought
Yeah.
I might be. Okay.
Yeah, it says when you play the supporter, you can draw 2 cards.
Okay. That was the misread then on my part. That's okay.
Yeah. But still, like, filling to 10 is bonkers.
Two extra cards off of that afterwards is crazy.
Being able to Guzma and then get 2 cards is insane.
Yeah,
but
100%.
It's not enough, and that's kind of like the
Archer.
place we're at.
Yeah,
where the numbers are too big, and like the playstyle is so established that I'm not sure how anything's going to compete. And there's been results with like Marnie's Grim Snarl, and I'm sure like the Mewtwo Rocket deck has had some results. I haven't been engaged with Japan, so I don't know. And I'll always say it. Also, I'll always say it. Japan's format is not indicative of what we get.
No,
it never has been, and it never will be.
Not even close. I mean, I've been looking at a few of like these Japan lists actually, just to see what's been going on over there, and it's like there's a couple of like Mewtwo lists that are like, oh, it's doing good, and it's the Mewtwo Spite Ops list that everyone talked about, and then you just run.
Yeah, you mean Mewtwo
some
EX
of the support
Gardevoir
Pokemon
from Pocket?
Yeah. You're running the Mimikyu so that you have your anti-Dragon Bolt answer. You're running the Murkrow so that you have a Torment option to like stop your opponent from using attacks. You've got the Articuno to give your Rocket Pokemon bench barrier. The Zapdos has, what does it have again? Oh, the Zapdos also has a control attack. To move energy from one thing to another thing, so you can like make an energy permanently dead for the game if you want. Like you have like it's a control heavy list that just is powering up Mewtwo and attacking with Mewtwo, and that's the goal, and that's cool. But that's the only Rocket list that's like doing anything. And then like a lot of these other lists, I'm just looking at them and they're the same. It's just another Raging Bolt list. There's another. The Marnie's Grimmsnarl list is just a Marnie's Grimmsnarl that's gotten slotted into the Frostlass Monkey Dory deck. And I'm not saying like that's not innovative or not cool, but it's just like the Frostlass Monkey Dory list has been, we've known about it, it's not doing anything amazingly new. Now it just has like an optimal attacker to actually go into it. So it's not just sitting there behind whatever. A Badoo, a Maractus, to just like stall out. Now it's actually
nice. Maractus is goated.
Maractus is good, yeah. But it's just like it's finally like whatever. Like some of these lists are like weird. I like what is it? Like I just clicked on like a Dragapult Blaziken EX list and like cool, I guess, but like that's not real.
No, it's not. That's never
that's
winning
not real.
Worlds.
Like someone got a City League like 7th place or 8th place with that. Like that's not happening. I mean the Ethan stuff is happening and like people
Ethan's
are doing
cool
things
archetype.
with that.
Ethan's is a cool archetype, and it actually seems like it has some genuine staying power.
Yeah. I actually kind of like this one where they're running like Pidgeot as like a partner to it, and I actually like the way that I like the way that you would do that because like Pidgeot has fallen out of favor, and I think Ethan's kind of the perfect deck to give it some of that back a little bit.
Yeah, you got a lot of stage 2 action.
Exactly, and I mean you're already running like the Quilava to kind of grab the Ethan's Adventure, so you run the Pidgeot to like maybe grab another one in the same turn if you don't have all your Quilava yet, but you might have set up your Pidgeot sooner or something like that. You're getting yourself set up, basically, and like that's the goal. Is it plays like a very straightforward way, but it's finally doing something a little bit different. What the heck is this? Someone made Incineroar EX work. Sure, whatever.
Dang, I didn't know that Lily went to Japan.
Jeez. Oh my god. Like cool. Like you see some of like the cheese
cool
here
stuff
and there.
That I'm hyped for.
I like it. I want to see that do more. Yeah, absolutely. People are messing around more with Okie Dokie these days, and that's kind of cool over there. But like, it's just
It's
everything feels very samey, and
I mean, like when the two best decks are also, I think it has a lot to do with like the pace of play, right? Like when the best decks were like when there were decks in the format that were like super turbo and could get away with that, and it didn't just feel like you were like having Badoo wars for the first 10 turns of the game.
Yeah.
If you wanted to like win, right? Like I don't know. Like
yeah.
So that stuff has just been
But Badoo has truly like hurt the format, I feel. And it's
I don't think it's necessarily that like Badoo itself has hurt the format. I think it's like the perfect storm of like Guard of War and Dragapult also exist.
Yeah.
And those are the two decks that happen to just play the slowest and benefit the most from item lock Badoo. So it's like I don't have a full problem with Badoo as a whole. And also like if you're really desperate, you can just play the Elekid, but you don't need to. And there's also ways around it. Like Zach put me on, friend of the show, Zach Terrio, and our testing partner. They put me on to, I guess actually Josh Mills put them onto it, but the Lucky Helmet in Dragapult on your Badoo, so you're drawing cards. Like that's cool. That's innovation that I like to see.
That's a smart tech. That's a good way to get around the Badoo wars, you know?
Yeah.
I like that. And it's better than just like let's stick a bravery charm on the Badoo and just draw the game out. No,
I'd rather play two Lucky Helmets in fact than two charms. I think I might switch to that actually.
No, that's fair.
Which is goofy, but it's fun.
That lets you advance the game state in a better way. You're searching, you're not being as passive about like your turn to turn. Let me draw, let me wait for a top deck. Like you're waiting for the top deck, but in a much different way. I think that's important, you know? It does make a difference. Honestly, I just saw a Japanese list that I actually really like because they're like finally using like they're doing something cool here for once, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a Tyranitar list, so it's 3 Badoo and it's running the 3 Tyranitar. But instead, they're like, oh, let's put Dracloak in there as the draw engine. And I'm like, thank God, finally someone is saying like, yes, Dracloak is a draw engine. Stop just going into Dragapult. Let's use Dracloak as the draw engine. We had Airmail Pidgeotto in the past, you know, and that was a not just perfectly serviceable, that was a busted control deck.
Yeah, it was an awesome control deck.
Insane engine for an insanely good control deck. But people just don't want to seem to go and say, oh, you know, recon directive. We don't want to do that. We need to run more of these stupid Dunsparces and stuff. I'm sorry.
Do not run to Dunsparce. That card is fake.
Yeah, the more I play it, the more I'm just like, wow, this card is truly horrendous.
Yeah.
In design.
But yeah, I think it's just a lot of the way the stuff is designed right now. Like also even like why do they even print Misty's Gyarados? That's a waste of several card slots. And I don't want to harp on it too much longer because there is other stuff that I am excited about. But like I think overall like even just the trainers Pokemon as a whole, I'll kind of wrap this section up with this. Like the trainers Pokemon as a whole concept is very phoned in. We got middling offerings as like proper decks. The cards that did come out of it for the most part don't go well with anything outside of their own archetype. There's a couple of niche things like Rocket Bomb and Dragapult. And like the Rocket support line is awesome, but overall I think that we would have been more benefited by just like either cutting the concept, like letting it bake more, or cutting it all together and giving us just like other stuff, because it feels like a waste of 2 sets of cards.
For sure.
And that's the part that feels lame, is it's like I grind to keep up with this competitive metagame. I have to like buy the cards, and that's just like that's money I have to spend, and that's hours I have to work and stuff like that so that I can get these cards. And when it feels like it's all for naught, that's just not a good feeling you want as a player. So for that reason, I'm not super fond of this current iteration of the gym or of the trainers Pokemon and stuff like that. And maybe Team Rocket stuff will prove me wrong, but
Yeah.
that's
No,
kind of where I'm at right now with that.
I'm very there with you. I'm not gonna harp on it too much longer, but I think like the biggest things, I think like maybe my two biggest ones. One, tinfoil hat theory was that because the Legend ZA stuff got delayed, and that seems very likely. I think there were rumors already that it was delayed. It was supposed to originally be like a 2024 release. I think there were rumors in 2024 surrounding that, and then it was confirmed that it was supposed to come out, I believe, earlier this year, in fact, and was delayed to the fall quarter, which is, I believe that's all correct. I might be completely wrong, but I'm like 90% sure on that from stuff that I've seen online disseminated by other people. Of course, I could be reading other misinformation. If all of that is true, like I said, tinfoil hat theory, owners Pokemon were just supposed to be kind of a stopgap and not much more. And if that's the case, that's part of why I think it feels, like we said, like phoned in a little bit.
Audio listeners, Johnny's wife Cassie just walked into frame and just said hello.
Yep. Oh man. Yeah. It feels just very much like that, I think, because of if all of that is true, like I said, very, very phoned in, very much a stopgap, very much just something to like stick here and say, okay, we need something to hold us over until we do something new. Owners Pokemon Go, and that's been
what'll make us money till it gets us to the next set.
And really, honestly, I feel like that's probably the biggest thing there is it really is a money grab more than a lot of other stuff. I think,
which is fine.
It feels very heavy money grab, and that's fine. That's what they're gonna do. But I feel that some of them just could have been a little bit better. Also, and then the very last gripe, I was telling Glenn about this on the pre-show. I did the pre-release. I did pre-release Saturday. I sit down, I open my box, I get the promo Typhlosion from the box, or I get the Destined Rivals Typhlosion stamp from the box. I'm leafing through the cards in the deck. I see the other Typhlosions, and then I stop and I leaf back. And if you haven't been to a pre-release yet, spoilers for you, but the promo cards out of each one are the same artwork as the standard versions in the set release. So, like, we aren't getting any sort of pre-release promos in these packs. They're not special. They are just the same art, and they are a different. If they don't have a hollow pattern, they get a hollow pattern. If they do, they get a slightly different one from the looks of it.
Yeah,
and they get a Destined Rivals
foil.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. It's a Cosmofoil pattern, and then they get a Destined Rifle stamp on the corner of the picture, and that's it. You're not getting a cool-looking picture of Instar Manitan running towards the camera ready to, like, destroy you. You're not getting a different version of Tatsugiri, sitting there on its rice pad. Like, you're just... It's just this. You know?
It feels bad. It feels empty. It feels. I think that's the best way to describe it. Yes. It's like this whole two sets have felt particularly empty. So, which makes it feel bad. At least as somebody who's not like grinding competitively.
Yes.
Maybe next season. That'll be when I do my competitive arc. It'll be crazy.
There you go.
Starting with the new black and white cards, which I'd like to move on to.
Yeah.
This is on the total flip side of the coin. These black and white cards have me so hyped.
Yes.
I didn't like Gen 5 when it first came out. Now I look at it and I love it.
Yeah.
It's my Gen 1. I think it, like, I might even like it more than Sinnoh, and Sinnoh is my goat. But we're getting, if you have not heard already, we are getting a 151 style specialty set that includes all of the cards from the Unova Pokédex.
Yes.
over 160 cards. I'm really hype about it. And what's cool is a lot of these are callbacks to the black and white era cards. Specifically, we're getting stuff like Prism Energy, which was featured in a lot of Worlds decks. It's a very powerful special energy card, where if it's attached to a basic Pokemon, it's Rainbow Energy. We're getting Ignition Energy, which is a improvement on a Triple Acceleration Energy. And this card says if it's attached to one of your Pokemon, discard it at the end of the turn. It provides one colorless while it's attached to a Pokemon, but if it's attached to an evolution, it's three colorless.
Mm-hmm.
So by the way, Wugtrio Mill is coming back strong, and I'm really hyped about it.
Oh my god, yeah. Finally.
But like we're getting stuff like Air Balloon reprint, which I'm very hype about because I have a lot of air balloons to play. We've got this.
I just bagged a ton of air balloons recently.
You gotta get the gold ones.
I need to get some gold ones. I just bagged like a ton of bulk air balloons out of some stuff at a store recently.
Nice.
And I'm like super excited because I'm like, oh cool, I'll just be able to use these, and these are going to be worth a little more now too.
Yeah.
So.
And even this is also one of few times we've also gotten a direct 1-for-1 reprint of a card.
Mm-hmm.
The electric that is printed in Black Bolt and White Flare is the Dynamotor electric that was used in stuff like Mewtwo Eels in World Championship 2010, I think.
Yes.
And like even down to like the attack and the retreat cost and stuff like that. The Weather Trio has like effects that are very similar to their original printings, and also like their full arts are direct references to their original printings. Lots of cool stuff, like the full arts of Reshiram and Zekrom. I'm sorry, I've been talking about this a lot, but
I
good. Love Black and White, and it's cool to see that Gen get some love. And the cards actually seem more interesting than Destined Rivals and Journey Together. So like, I'm excited about that stuff.
No, it's absolutely super cool to see that happen. I mean, we're getting Imbor back with Inferno Fandango on it, you know. That's a direct callback, at least. It's not a direct reprint, but that is a callback. And I think that's actually going to open up. I mean, I've already been like thinking about like stuff that I want to try with this in a way that like I hadn't really been thinking the same, even the same amount of time ahead before, like, you know, Journey Together and Destined Rivals. I'm like looking at this import, I'm like, yo, I could make Armor Rouge EX actually work now.
Yeah.
And that seems like a very viable deck with this dude. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like fire, like it's a instead of rain dance, it's a fire dance, but yeah, it lets you power that up and go. I'm looking at that. The electric is amazing. Also,
Dynamotor being back in the format is awesome. Miraidon's going to go crazy during Worlds.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm pretty sure, I believe because this kind of like direct reprint thing has happened in the past, and the rulings in the past have let you play the old versions of the card, I believe you should be able to play Noble Victories Electric if you want to, and if you have it. And that's really cool.
Fairly certain that is exactly how it works.
I think that's really, really cool, because that's not as common as like item reprints and supporter reprints and stuff like that for like a Pokemon to be reprinted directly. I think we're looking at like a lot of cool stuff. I'm also super, super hyped, and I keep willing the announcement for the 70 HP Timber. I'm willing 70 HP Timber into existence. I'm trying my hardest because that's the Conkeldurr stocks go up if that happens.
Conkeldurr stocks go up.
Super, super excited for that. Don't have to run Trolley anymore. We can run Poffins, and we could run a better.
Have you played that with Brox yet?
I have not. Ooh, that might be something to try.
Try it with Brox. Brox Scouting is good.
Yeah, Brox Scouting is really good. Honestly, that might not be bad for that. I don't know. Try that out. I already have been running like tons of Hassle for that anyway, and Hassle's great. So
nice,
man. Okay,
but yeah, like all the black and white stuff looks super hype. I'm super nostalgic for the art style on it, like all these like swirls and like the checkerboard patterns, and even like the old style energies coming back. Oh, I'm so hype.
Also, the horizontal hollow
pattern. That's the best hollow pattern. Yep. It's so good.
Yeah, it's really cool to see like this callback happening. Like as someone who never really got to experience like the black and white era much, as
Yeah.
like at least as like a TCG player, coming back to it and like seeing it relaunch and in this way, I think is really really cool. I'm
Yeah.
super happy for it. I'm super excited.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm really hype about it. That'll be kind of what brings me back into standard. I think I'm honestly
Yeah.
probably going to be on hiatus from standard aside from like covering it on the show. Out until black and white comes back, just
Hmm.
because that's where I'm at with the game right now, and I don't want to burn myself out. That creates bad content for the folks at home listening.
Hmm.
It creates negative energy that I don't want around. And
No,
it also just puts strife between me and the game that I love. So I don't want to
yeah,
do that to myself.
that's super fair. Yeah, I
Um,
think that it's important to engage with like this hobby in a way that makes you enjoy it. Because if you don't engage with it in that way, then you're not going to enjoy it, and then you're gonna not want to
Burnout.
engage with it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think that's super fair.
I think you're so right with that. And speaking of which, how have you been engaging with the Pokemon trading card game lately? Because
I
we've
mean,
been doing a lot of the same, but
I
talk to me.
I have been fully immersed in GLC. I think both of us have.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
since I mean, even with live, since the GLC event launched on live,
Yeah, they're
I
trainer
have
trials.
I haven't touched standard
Yeah,
since that happened,
that's
and
a lot of
I'm really
people's.
disappointed that like Thursday is going to be the end of it because I'm like, man, this was such a fun experience. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm at the point where I'm like, honestly, I'm gonna just see if like people will be down to like run GLC games on like Discord or something like that instead.
Yeah,
Like that just to me that sounds so much more fun than just sitting in standard after this. Now I have virtually zero drive to like play standard games.
yeah.
So it's either that or maybe I'll just take a break from live for a little while and find something else to play.
Which
Which is honestly not a bad idea either.
it's a great idea. There's lots of good
In
games to
fact,
play.
yeah, and I've got plenty of other things that I need to do to fill some time and have fun with. So I'm not too stressed about that. But one
Mm-hmm.
of the things that I've also been doing, I started looking at some of the Destin Rivals cards actually from the perspective because I'm like having gotten into GLC more. I'm trying to look at stuff more from the perspective of like, is this card good for GLC? You
Yeah.
know, and I'm actually super excited for some of these in GLC. I think one of the coolest ones, I mentioned it in the Discord the other day, um, the Team Rockets, let me go up to it. Team Rockets Tyranitar line, I think is really, really
Yes.
cool. For the folks at home who haven't seen this, the Team Rockets Tyranitar is 180 HP fighting type with an ability Sandstream, and this is a callback to the old Team Rockets Tyranitar from like 2004, 2005. And it says, as long as this Pokemon's in the active spot, put 2 damage counters on each of your opponent's basic Pokemon during checkup. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, like that's that's really good, especially every single checkup where we're
Play
doing
that with
some crazy good chip damage.
Frostlass
Mm-hmm. I mean, as like a
in
standard deck,
standard.
playing that with the Frostlass, that would be crazy. But this thing, honestly, I think goes in like in a fighting type GLC. I think you can make like a control style deck. One of the big things to partner this with is the Ancient Power Archeops that doesn't let anyone while it's in play. Players can't evolve Pokemon, you and your opponent. So you got to get the Tyranitar down first. But you get the Tyranitar down while you're also working towards your Archeops. You get your Archeops down after your Tyranitar, and you're just chipping away at your opponent's basic Pokemon. If they don't have, if they've already gotten some of evolutions into play, you can hit them with like a TM Devo and drop them back down and put the chip damage there again, and it's super cool.
Also, if you play, if you want to lead into the spread a little more, you can play the Ting Lu from Twilight Masquerade with Ground Crasher. Oh my gosh,
that's so cool! I love that. I love like the idea of like making a fighting type spread deck. Like I think this like actually legitimately opens up like a new archetype of fighting types that maybe wasn't quite there anymore or quite there before. And even like the lead up to like the Tyranitar is cool too. The Larvitar has a Mountain Munch attack, so it's 10 damage and discard the top part of your opponent's deck.
Yeah.
10 and 1 mil is cool. The Pupitar has a crazy cool attack. Explosive. It's explosive ascension, explosive awakening, something like that. But this thing is like it's an ascension attack, but it does 30 damage.
Oh, that's cool.
Like that's so cool. Like we see ascension attacks, but like this is ascension and damage, and I think that's something worth talking about because that really hasn't been done before, not to my knowledge at least.
Well, and it's cool because you also like it does 30, then you evolve into T-Tar, and then it's another 20.
Yeah. If they have a basic in the like in play that you just hit with the 30. Yeah, it's got 50 on it now. So that's like, I mean, that's something. That's something right there. I just think like, I think like stuff like that is really cool. That Arbok we were talking about earlier, I think even though it probably won't see standard play, that's an insanely good card for Dark.
Great GLC card, yeah.
That's basically Galarian Wheezing. Again, that is kind of a second Galarian Wheezing. If it's in your active, your opponent can't play any Pokemon cards with abilities from their hand.
Yeah.
So if it's in play already, sure, they can play it. But this is essentially a way to shut off the abilities before they come into play. So in a sense, it is Galarian Wheezing. It's just not shutting down abilities in play. It's stopping them before they ever happen.
Yeah, which is sometimes better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if you're running a poison-based dark deck or you're running like Galarian Wheezing in your dark GLC, you know, this is worthwhile. Also, that attack isn't nothing either. 30 damage to all benched Pokemon on your opponents. Yeah, or 30 damage to all of your opponent's Pokemon, not even benched. Sorry, that's good. That's really good. Yeah,
I'm of course looking forward to some of the other silly cards. I like silly cards. I like the Rocket's Persian a lot.
Yes,
I think that's really just a cool thing to do, like a cool effect. I'm a big fan also of this Rocket. What is it called? Rocket's Venture Bomb, where you flip a coin, and if heads, put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon, and if tails, put 2 on your active Pokemon, which is interesting.
Yeah,
because you can just move it around depending on the deck. And for the deck that I've been playing for GLC, or trying to build, I haven't built it yet. I'm still working out the counts for it because it is quite a lot. I am building, and this is, you'll want to hear this too. I'm going to be working on a game show type GLC deck. Have been for a while. And it is different. It still needs a lot of work, but I'm working on, it's a very control type of list. I'm using, but the main goal is I wanted to play as many of the like interaction cards as possible, right? So I've got included in the list right now, where are they? So I've got Time, which reads, you tell your opponent the name of a Pokemon in your hand and then put that Pokemon face down in front of you. Your opponent guesses the Pokemon's HP, and then you reveal it. If they guessed right, they draw 4, and if they guessed wrong, you draw 4, then return the Pokemon to your hand.
Yeah,
that's
so cool.
I've got Cedric Juniper, where you put a Pokemon from your hand face down, tell your opponent its name, and they guess the height. And then if they guessed right, they draw 3. If they guessed wrong, you draw 3. I've got Swordward and Shieldbert, where you choose a trainer card from your discard pile and then ask your opponent if you can put it in your hand, and if yes, you put that card in your hand, and if no, you draw 3.
Yeah.
Just maximizing player interaction, right?
Yeah.
I've got Blaine's Quiz Show, which is another like guess to the stat on a card or whatever. I've got lots of coin flipping and rock, paper, scissors. I'm doing like an item lock situation so that you're kind of forced to play my game. I've got like a Rochambeau Mr. Mime from Lost Origin, where if I win, my opponent can't damage the Mr. Mime, or this Zatu, where we play rock, paper, scissors, and whoever wins draws 3, and the player who loses mills 3. lots of really cool, just like control-y player interaction stuff, flipping coins. Like I've got Pheasantipity from Twilight Masquerade. I've got Monkey Dory. I've got Dan and Riley, and I'm gonna put Wallace, or is it Wallace? I think it's Wallace, where you draw 3, and if you ask your opponent if they want to draw a card, and if they say yes, you draw a 4th card. Like all of the like player interaction silliness. It'll probably end up being just like a control deck. I want to put like the Espathra in that lets you be invincible so that your opponent can't knock it out immediately turn 1.
Yeah, the stance Espathra.
Yeah, the stance Espathra. Just to control the board state and be like, no, you're playing this game. I've got also, like Galar Mine in there.
With that Pheasantipity, you got to throw in the Glimwood Tangle in there.
Yes.
Yeah. That way when you flip the coin,
will also.
Attack. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, stuff like that, like the things to influence the coin flip and make it even more fun, and just like I love that idea in general. I mean, you've mentioned it before, and God, it's just such a cool concept to turn the game into something beyond just playing Pokemon and playing cards against someone else. You know, I also think that like something like this is a really cool concept because it definitely pushes me toward it's one of those things that makes me lean more and more towards like not more and more towards, I should say, but like pushes me to emphatically defend not having chess clocks in Pokemon for play, because I think that that's like a topic that's come up, and I don't want to like commandeer like the non-standard discussion with this, but it's one topic that I've seen come up occasionally here and there with like standard play or Pokemon play in general needs chess clocks to monitor time, because time is being mismanaged by players, and players are slow playing and this and that and the other. And I don't think that that's wrong, in that like slow playing is a thing that happens and that it does need to be maybe policed better. But a deck like this existing means that we can't just use a catch-all fix like chess clocks, because cards like this exist, cards that encourage player interaction, that encourage you to play a game of rock paper scissors. How do you determine whose time it's on?
Whose turn is it? Is there like a general time for game states? Is exactly like when you play Judge, whose turn is it? While you're shuffling.
Exactly. Like a deck like this suddenly like flips a lot of that on its head by like starting to ask, okay, well, where should we appropriate that kind of time? So I like that something like this exists even for that, because it means that we can't just use a simple fix like that. I think that there's better discussion to be had elsewhere instead because of that. That's all, really. But
chess clocks are not a good idea. I think players need to just get better at calling their opponents out for slow playing.
100%.
And just know the rules of the game you're playing. Chill out. You don't need chess clock. You think little Timmy playing in the juniors and seniors tables is gonna be able to figure out a chess clock and also how to play like Dragapult? Chill out.
These kids, their hands barely like hold half the cards.
Like, and that also just takes so much of the fun out of the game, and it's a fun game. So don't do that. It's not worth having. Like, go on. I just genuinely think it's such a waste of energy when you could be putting energy towards a better, more elegant solution. So I don't know exactly what the best solution is, but that's certainly not it.
Sorry to go off on a tangent. That's where like
that's still fine.
I think like I think that I think this is still like just a really cool concept for a deck, and I'm super excited to see this because I want to play against it. I want to test it out and play it too. I really just like I want to mess around with it as much as possible in every possible way. So I'm super excited to see how it ends up in its final form.
Yeah, same.
Oh man.
There's a lot of cool stuff for like GLC is a fun format. I actually today got to play Sky and Amelia and Zach. We all got to sit down and play a little bit of Paradox Rift format between like before Top Cut at the Cup at Get Some today. And
Ooh,
that was
yeah.
so much fun. After my horrible results at the cup today, I went 1-4. By the way, I started
Oof.
3 games in a row. I started Pheasantipity EX in the active, Attach Dark, pass,
Oof.
which is insane because I play 1 Dark Energy and of course 1 Fez. So the fact that those were my starting hand 3 games in a row is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a pretty crazy stat.
like that's just one of those things where it's like, all right, today's just not my day. We're gonna pack it up. But
One in a million.
but so I played Old Faithful Mew VMAX.
Ooh.
It felt so good. It felt like coming. It felt like coming home to my wife.
Yeah.
Feel like
No, that's awesome.
this is a safe place. I am comfortable. I know
End of its
exactly what to do
lifespan too
here.
version. Like
Yeah, when it was at its
probably one of the
peak,
best versions. Yeah.
it was so
Oh
good with
man.
Forest Sealstone in the deck. Yeah, it was so good. So much fun to play that format. It's a very good format. Highly recommend it if you're building retro at all.
Hmm.
Give that a shot. Very fun.
What
I
other
just had a blast.
what other decks did Sky have? I'm curious because I
Um,
know he's been talking about
he had
getting a few
Mew
built out.
built. He had Single Strike Lugia. I think he had colorless Lugia.
Ooh, I
Or
love single strike
he had
Lugia.
colorless Lugia, and then he had Single Strike Tyranitar, some variation thereon.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
and then what else did he have? I forget exactly what. But it was a lot of fun just playing some old decks.
Yeah.
Amelia brought Chen Pao because of course she did.
Hmm. Had to have the
Um,
rapid strike. The was it Urshifu rapid
the
strike
Rapid Strike
Inteleon
box. Ooh
Urshifu
yeah.
Inteleon VMAX rapid strike deck. That's such a crazy cool deck. I
I'm ready
miss
to.
that deck.
Hey, Paradox Drift
Yeah.
format. It's in there.
Yep. Honestly.
I'm gonna build it again. I think I'm like none of those cards are standard legal anymore, so I'm gonna play it.
Hmm. No, 100%.
So good.
Yeah.
But yeah, alternate formats are so fun, and I
Yeah.
think part of what is helping people realize that was TCG Live putting GLC
Hmm.
on the client. Obviously, not the
Yeah.
best version of it, not the
No.
correct version of it, not the full version of it,
Unfortunate.
but
They had to fix it a couple times too.
and also Palisand EX was in there a couple times when he shouldn't have.
The Palisand, and it was no one knew
Or
until someone
Palisand
like,
GX, yeah.
yeah, I think someone just like probably tried messing around and then they threw it in and it's still not good.
Yeah. Which is
Oh
sad, by the
no.
way. If your
Yeah, that
Palisand
and
is
like
not good.
and no tag teams right off the bat. But like honestly it was cool. Like it was
Yeah.
still cool. Like such a fun format to play. I've been
Very
enjoying
fun.
the trainer trial formats in general. I think what was it the first couple they did were all right. Like Singleton was pretty good. Um the twin battle one was like, it's kind of whatever. That one didn't feel bad. It just didn't feel like amazing. It just felt more of like how do you make whatever current deck like more as consistent as possible when you're limited to only 2 copies of everything.
Yeah.
Which like I mean, there's still decks that like you can make. Like you just make a Dragon Ball deck for that, but like now you can't use two Buddy Bobbin.
You just play Pulsard.
Yeah, honestly, like that's pretty much what I did. Like it was whatever. But
Yeah.
I think I had the most fun doing Silver Series and then doing GLC. Obviously,
Yeah.
Silver Series I think was actually really cool because it was all rares and lower, so it's like Pauper essentially.
Yeah, like Pauper.
The highest rarity that you could do, I think, were technically like A-spec rares, which I guess they considered as just rares because they were going off set symbol,
Yeah.
since that's the change they made to live. It feels a little weird for that. That they live operates off of set symbol now for that, and because like A-specs are technically a rarity above rare, but I don't know.
I'm not going to pretend to understand the way they code live.
Whatever, everyone had access to A-specs for that, so I'm not going to complain there.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Like you could build out, people were messing around with like the new Whale Lord deck, people I was doing the T-Tar item block, and that was super cool. There was so much you could do, like to just mess around with stuff, like have fun outside of just playing, big EX, let me throw Squawkabilly and Latias and Bezendipity and a million other singleton EX dudes to, support my one big EX guy and go ham,
Yeah.
It was a lot cooler to like not have to sit around and play that. yeah, so I was enjoying that. Um, yeah, I don't know. One of the things I'm actually looking forward to is something that I'm working on right now. I've found a series of cubes off of Cube Koga that I'm putting together, and I'm really excited to try those out. So I'm working on like a bunch of proxy cards for that. The goal is like
Nice.
I actually have sitting on my desk right here next to me like a 4-row completely full of cards that I pulled from one of the local game stores. They were like, just please take it. We don't need these. So yeah, yeah.
That's pretty
Shout
good.
out to Rally Scroll for that, please. Thank you. Yeah, they were
Ooh.
super awesome for that.
You'll
So it
have to
is.
let me know if you find anything good in there.
I as so the goal is I'm going to take I pulled the first thing as an example. I'm just going to take this and we're going to go from this to putting a label over it. So we're going to print onto label paper and then peel that, stick it across, and then sleeve them. So
Nice.
whatever, like I'm trying to make like solid quality proxies off that, and I was like, that seems like a really good way to do proxies, honestly.
I used to just take where are they? I have them.
Mm-hmm.
I would take this particular size post-it note,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it happens to be the same exact size as the image of the Pokemon.
Yeah,
And I would make that my proxy.
that's fair.
And obviously you could like do the same with the body. You could put 2 on there, but
Yeah.
post-it notes are pretty affordable. Like the
Mm-hmm.
adhesive is already on there.
Yeah.
That's how I was doing proxies for a while.
No, I totally get that. I'm trying to do these like a little bit quality just because it's like I'm doing a lot of like older cards that I don't have, and so these are like
Alternatively,
just
if
trying
you're
to
going to
get
put
them.
any money into it, printingproxies.com is really good.
I also was looking into that as well as like an option, but I think with like the amount that I want to do, like with
It'd be a little pricey.
a lot of cubes, I think it's easier if I just try to do it myself.
Yeah.
So I'm also, yeah, I've got a printing setup for it and everything that I can run. So it's just a matter of getting them, like putting in the time and work to get all the pictures downloaded, all the images downloaded, set them up on the templates, and then just save the templates, run those in the printer. Boom, done. You know.
Yeah.
So,
That'll be
but
cool.
the cubes that I'm looking at, I've got a few of them. One of them that I found. So I started this initially with a look at a ruby sapphire. This is a ruby and sapphire to power keepers cube. So this is like 2004 to 2007, which is like widely considered the golden age of the TCG. It's pretty much it's just like it's they introduced 2 prizers in this era because this is like the generation that has like the first EX Pokemon, and this is also but it plays with lower HP and a lot more like manual attachments. Special energies matter a lot more.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. It just ends up being like a really really cool format. Also, Delta species and all the hole and stuff
So
exists
good.
in this time period, and that's like a really
So good.
it's cool
Delta
to just get a
species for
cube.
alligator, my beloved.
Mm-hmm. It's so cool because it's cool to see like a cube that you get all of this stuff in it. So this cube has like they've got like I'm just like looking through it. They've got like a bunch of like stuff for Crobat. So they've got Zubat, we've got Golbat and Dark Golbat, we've got Crobat Delta species and Crobat EX, both of which are really really cool in there. We've got Metagross and Metagross Delta species. The Delta species Metagross was like a lightning and steel type, which is really cool. Also, this generation or this time period, they were doing like dual types for Pokemon.
Yes, they were.
And dual typing was really really cool. This is also the generation that's got what else is it? Dark Pokemon again. So we've got like Dark Dragonite in here, Dark Electro, that kind of stuff. Same generation also introduced what was it? Rocket's admin, which we now know as Iono. So or excuse me, no, not Iono. I'm sorry. It's N basically. Rocket's admin was N.
Gotcha.
And again, really, really cool supporter. Yeah, it's a cool time period, and I'm like, as someone who, as a kid, grew up really like buying more Pokemon cards during this time period, and not really knowing how to play, but doing like kitchen table stuff and like learning kind of how to play on kitchen table, like revisiting this stuff and getting to play cards that I like am a little bit familiar with, and like cards that I never paid attention to in this time period. I'm like really excited to build this out and try it out with a group of people, because I think like this could be a lot of fun to just like host, 8 people for an afternoon to just play this,
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I'm really looking forward to. But there's that cube. There's a really cool one done by Andrew Mahone. That's he calls Noah's Ark, and it's a cube where all the Pokemon in it there's only 2 copies of the evolving lines in it. Ooh. So you have 2 Bulbasaur, 2 Ivysaur, 2 Venusaur. But the catch is that there's only one of each version of these Pokemon. So you have a Miracle Aroma Venusaur, and then you have a Harvest Bounty Venusaur. Like, these are like abilities on them. We have like a Typhlosion, and then the Delta species like Psychic type Typhlosion, a Gengar, and then a Gengar EX. And that's cool. Like, I'm like, this is a cool way to like build out this kind of cube to see what kind of combos people will come up with. So that's one. There's a stupid I mean, not like bad, just stupidly absurd overpowered cube that Omnipoke designed, that's got like I mean, it's got stuff from all kinds of like different generations. It's got some Delta species, it's got some Break Pokemon in it, it's got Radiance in it, it's got all kinds of stuff in it, and it's supposed to be just like an absurdly high-powered cube. It even follows a ruling in it, I believe, where everyone gets like a Mysterious Pearl card, which is Hisuian Heavy Ball, but for any Pokemon.
That's pretty cool.
And you don't have to shuffle your prizes afterward.
That's pretty cool.
You can use A-Specs. Also, EX, capital EX, and lowercase EX Pokemon are only single prizers in this cube. Yeah, it's just stuff like that. It's like silly stuff like that. Like, but it's really cool. What else was there? Was another one that was like
jail time for that. This is officially an Omnipoke call out post. We're starting the beef back up.
This is it. Honestly, it seems just a lot of fun. What else?
That does sound really fun.
The restored. Oh, that's right. The restored Pokemon.
Also crazy.
Yeah, there's the restored Pokemon in here. So like the those exist in this, and if you the restored Pokemon are considered basics, but the Radiants are considered stage whatever they are naturally. So a Radiant Venusaur is a stage 2, that kind of thing.
Oh, interesting.
It's cool. It messes around with like some of the stuff, but I mean, we've got all kinds of cool stuff on here. There's the there's the Plasma Flareon here. Like, just a lot of silly stuff. I'll have to link you this, but this is crazy cool. It just was a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun looking through this list and like seeing exactly like what's in here. Level X's exist in this, Ditto Prism, like Prism Star Dittos in here, but only one.
Of the best design cards ever.
Only one though.
Yeah.
So if you end up drafting that in this, you're gonna have a great time.
I'm also just interested because I've never played a cube before, so like it'll be fun to have a drafting experience. I think it's cool to have a drafting experience where you just sit down with some buds and you draft something up, make a big, even if it's just like a 4-man pod, like have a good time, draft some decks, build something, have a good time. I think
that's the coolest part about stuff.
We live in a highly competitive area, and I think that between all of the alternate format stuff that's been happening, and just seeing how competitive so many of the people in our area are and how talented and good some of these players are, it makes me think, like, what if I just hold off? Like, we're getting to the end of the season.
Yeah.
Let's just have fun for the next couple months. You know, like,
Why
August
not?
is around the corner. That's when Worlds is going to be. I'm not making Worlds. I'm not even going to make Ace Trainer. Some of our friends are, and testing friends, like in groups are, but I think that it would be time better spent just to play fun stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
no, 100%.
And that is also like why, like, I've been talking to Brian a lot more about like his rogue decks. I want to play Kofu Veluza.
No, that's super fair.
That deck seems so sick.
It's really cool.
At the Buzz Cup or Challenge the other month, watching him do like multiple turns in a row, just being like, oh yeah, I'm going to bench Halucha and then TM Blindside for free.
Yeah.
Like, what? Get out of here.
Snipe every single
bench
turn.
Snipe
and it's
everything.
Crazy.
It's so cool. Good. It's so cool. Yeah. So like, it's stuff like that like makes me. That's the stuff that seems fun. And like, I'm not a big like rogue player. Like, sometimes I like to play meta and I like to win and do well. But like, I also like having fun. This is Pokemon, you know. Like, let's not get too big for our britches here.
Yeah.
This is Pokemon cards.
No, absolutely.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just like the high tension that makes me be like, let's take a step back.
No, that's super fair. I'm right there with you. And like I said, like getting so the interest in like doing these was because I think what was it? It was after the last Get Some challenge a couple of weeks back. I managed to find some time to get over there after I think it was I think it was a couple weekends ago. I found some time to get over there, and I was like, you know what? Let's have some fun with this, and you know, do the challenge or whatever. And then afterwards, we were just doing some GLC, and someone came in, and they were looking for standard play, and none of us really wanted to play standard play. No one there was really doing that. We were just at that point playing GLC, and then they told him, yeah, a bunch of these people are doing GLC. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. I have some of that. And he's like, actually, I've got this too. And he had a Wizards of the Coast format cube, 4-person cube, ready to go. And I was like, what? That's so cool. So naturally, Sky and I sat down with this guy, and there was like one other guy who was just there who was like, oh yeah, I'll try this out. So it's like we sat down and we played out a 4-person WotC cube, and it was so cool. It was so cool.
That's so
genuinely one of the more interesting times that I've had playing Pokemon. But like I fumbled terribly. I did not draft very well. I thought I drafted well, but I did not. I went too fossil heavy, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I was going for an Omastar angle, but it was still really fun just to have that experience for it. And so that's what got me into like looking at some other ones and like, oh, some of these look really cool. I found this one, and I was like thinking, oh, I'm not gonna like this, but like the more I read it, the more I loved it. The idea of this actually was Jake Gearhart did a 8-player pocket cube. It's a cube designed to replicate Pokemon Pocket.
That's
and
cool.
So he's created a rule set for this to match Pokemon Pocket. So you build a 30-card deck, or excuse me, you build a 20-card deck with 30 cards if you do packs of 15 with 8 players. It's like a 240-card cube. So you're going for a 30-card or a 20-card deck, and then your energy are off to the side as like your energy pile.
Yeah.
And then every turn you flip, you shuffle up your energy pile, and then every turn you flip 1 card up, face up on your energy pile, and you move it into your energy pool, the way that like Pocket like generates the energy into your energy pool.
Yeah.
And then you can take those and attach them to Pokemon. And then the only stipulation that is stuff that's like, oh, search your deck for a Pokemon or for an energy. You get to search your energy pool for an energy, like a specific one if it's named,
That's
you know?
Cool.
stuff like that. Weakness is not a ×2. Weakness is just a +20. You can only have 3 Pokemon on the bench, but it's still using stuff like it's still using like some GX Pokemon in here. But even then, like the Pokemon aren't like very strong. We've got like I think like just as an example, like Shady Moves Banette GX. Let me pull that guy up real quick. I might have also picked like the most broken one in there. I don't know. But
it says once during your turn, if you're active, you can move 1 damage counter from one Pokemon to another Pokemon.
yeah,
Radiant Alakazam.
yeah, pretty much. But it's Radiant Alakazam, but it's much weaker. It's on a stage 1.
Yeah.
And then the attack, Shadow Chant. This does 10 more damage for each supporter card in your discard pile. You can't add more than 100 damage in this way. So
wow.
Yeah, so like 10 supporters, you're doing 130, but you can't go anywhere past that. You know, it's stuff like that. So like, it looks like a lot of the Pokemon in this cube are very much like that, where there's a cap to like the damage they can do, or there's a high energy stipulation to it, or there's some coin flip stuff in here. You know, just some silly things like that. And honestly, like I was like, you know what, this seems like a lot of fun. Like this just seems like a fun way to play Pokemon. It doesn't make me want to get into Pocket, but only because like I would play Pocket's rule set, but I don't want to play Pocket because of the pack ripping and paying money to get more packs and all of that stuff. This is a cool way to approach that rule set though, with what exists currently, you know. So I was like, yeah, let's give this a shot. So I've got everything for this one now. I just need to get the temple laid out and give it a shot. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that sounds awesome. I love the sound of that. I'm excited to get to play some cubes. I know Sky's working on an old SP cube with like the hand traps in there too.
Ooh.
Which it's just gonna be a lot of cool stuff. There's so many ways to play Pokemon cards.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's kind of like what's cool about it. Like it's a cool game. It's fun, and when you're not playing standard, you can do other stuff. Which I mean, like that was the birth of GLC in general. I don't know if you knew the origin of it, but like back during the Sun and Moon tag team era, when ADP was meta, ADP Zacian was meta.
Yeah.
Between that and the Panda, the Pandy, like like they invented GLC because standard was not fun.
Yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense too. Like,
and so when we're in a position where standard isn't necessarily fun, at least for us, it could be fun. For those of you who are having a blast with standard right now, continue having a blast with standard.
Yeah,
have so much fun.
Absolutely.
But for those of us who aren't, this is a cool alternative. It's really nice to have other stuff to do and other ways to play. And it also makes a lot more of us like stretch our creative minds too, which is like I'm looking up cards and stuff I never would have thought of. Like I never knew Trick Shovel existed before trying to build Game Show GLC. So it's a very weird one, but you know, I think it's cool to get yourself creative, to try new stuff, to get some knowledge of the history of the game, to try out cool combos, to learn things about cubes and other ways to play. And I think it's beneficial for yourself and for the people around you to learn more fun and cool ways to play Pokemon cards.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think when the game is something where when Pokemon as a card game, at least in one way, isn't, you know, engaging or isn't doing something the way that you want it, don't disengage completely. Find a different way to enjoy it, because you know, it's already a hobby that like you have to invest, you know, a decent bit of time and money into to enjoy. Find a different way to enjoy it so that you're not just, you know, feeling burnt out and on top of that like disillusioned with it, you know.
Yeah. And even like I know for me, like there was a time when I wasn't loving standard where I started making shadow box cards, like carving out, like taking a bunch of copies of a card and like cutting out layers to make a 3D image.
Stuff's so cool.
It's fun. I'm not very good at it, but like I made a couple of them and they were pretty good. I made one for my friend who I used to stream with. We were doing a Pokemon Nuzlocke, together. We were doing like a Pokemon Black and White Soul Link Nuzlocke together.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, I think, a Quilava for him. He commissioned me to do a Quilava from, I think, Brilliant Stars or something like that. Or maybe it was Lost Origin. I can actually find out. I'll find out right now. But one of those is a shadow box, and it was a lot of fun. And I had a lot of fun making it. It was Astral Radiance, but it was a fun way to get creative with the cards I already have that I'm not using competitively. It was a great way to get creative, and that's ultimately like my takeaway from this. Is like, Pokemon is cool. Don't get down in the dumps because it can suck sometimes. Find another way to enjoy it and enjoy it to the fullest. Like there's no point in frustrating yourself about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's spot on.
Yeah, I don't think there's any more ways to say it. I think we kind of have wrapped it up pretty neatly there. I think what might be best is just let's go ahead and call the episode there, and we'll move on to our bonus. Sorry for a little bit, 15 minutes shorter episode to all the N21 diehard fans. You guys will be missing out on 15 minutes of content, but you can make up for that content threefold if you go to patreon.com/terminalcreative and sign up. For the low cost of $5 a month, you can get early access to every episode and access to our bonus show, which we're about to go to. And it's a lot of fun. It's really chill and lax over there. It's more casual. And we talk about stuff other than Pokemon, where sometimes it's nice to get out of the sphere of Pokemon, especially tonight. I'm really excited about tonight's bonus, where we're talking about some games, some hobbies, some cool stuff we've been doing. For the price of a pack of cards a month, you can help us out, help support us, help us get to our goal of taking over the podcast space for Pokemon. Our current goal for the Patreon is to get slightly better equipment, and then eventually move on to being able to afford an RSS feed so that we can put the podcast on more streaming services and just get it syndicated better. And your money will directly contribute to that. So
yes.
Elevator pitch again. Is over, but we're going to go ahead and call this recording here and head over to the bonus. Thank you all for coming out and listening and watching. And we hope to see you in the next one. Peace out.